All right, everyone. Welcome to this amazing session. This is day two session. Welcome, everyone. I believe you can hear us. This is day two of the Smart City Mall round table, the launch event. And I am your host, Joshua Oshowo. In this session, we'll be having amazing speakers come up to share amazing insights into what they are doing in the tech space in different industries around the world. And you'll be learning amazing topics, learning amazing information from them. So I want you to get ready. Yesterday was so amazing, but today will be super amazing. So I want you, wherever you're listening around the world, please go to the comment segment. Tell your friends we are now live. We are now live. We are now live. Tell your friends, call your neighbors, call your children, call your dependents, call everyone. Let them know that we are now live. We'll be sharing amazing information about the smart city space in Africa, the different technologies in Africa that help Africa become smart, and how we plan on unifying them to ensure that Africa and the citizens of Africa are more productive, effective, and secured. So, in this session, we'll be having amazing speakers from Prof. Ken, as I popularly call him. We have Prof. Ken. It's like pictures on the screen right now. We're speaking on green energy, energy in general as it relates to smart cities. We'll be having James Onolapo will be speaking on safety in smart cities for engineers and residents. So ensure that you are ready for this amazing session. It's going to be super amazing. It's going to be super amazing. Thank you very much. So we'll be going in live, having the speakers talk. But before we do that, I would like to speak about this event. If this is your first time listening to this event or coming or getting to know about Smart City Mall Africa. Smart City Mall Africa, um, abbreviated as SCMA, you might have seen that somewhere. So SCMA is simply when expanding the word, we call it Smart City Mall Africa. Simply the mall for Africa where you sell everything for smart cities. Yes. Now, on this platform is a marketplace was launched yesterday. So everyone can buy, customers, businesses. You can go to the platform and get what you need to get to become effective, efficient, and secured. You can also get everything smart, everything security, everything energy or power on the platform. So I'm inviting you to do that as soon as possible. So and get ready to maximize this platform. Right now, outside that, on this platform, you can also get installation services, you can get maintenance services, you can be an affiliate marketing products, marketing the products sold on those platforms to get currently a list of 1% on every sale of everyone that clicks your link to create their own account on the platform. So for as long as they keep on buying on the platform, you keep on earning. It's one big thing that has hit Africa that I don't think Africa was even expecting that. So ensure that you are ready to be a part of this. Be an affiliate, be a consultant, be an installer, be an engineer, be a vendor, be a manufacturer. Now you can go and start inventing, you can go and start manufacturing, you can start building those assembling plants in Africa, knowing there's a platform that can help you sell, that can help you launch, that can help you scale, called Smart City Mall Africa. So I'm inviting everyone around the space, around Africa, in diaspora, like an African, or you want to build something great in Africa, it is time to come back home and make something great happen. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Uh, while I right now, I will now be introducing the speakers shortly, and I would like you to watch their bio as I talk about them. Thank you very much. All right, so I'll start with an amazing friend of mine. I call him Prof. Ken again. Someone just told me, he said his bio seems smaller than what I spoke about him yesterday. And I just started to laugh a bit about that. But you get to see his bio in a bit. Now, Kenneth Adeyemi is a renewable energy and MEP expert. What do you mean MEP? Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing expert with over 10 years in design and implementation experience in the residential and commercial building marketing. He's also an industrial designer, someone I respect in the space, has taught the faces of Asia, Africa, and done amazing things in the works of mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. He's worth knowing, he's worth researching about. You might not see him always on the space of the internet, but when you're ready to reckon with minds and brains that can help your commercial and residential spaces become effective, you need to know Kenneth Adeyemi. So after him, I would like to talk about Mr. Victor Emaye. I would like the media team to kindly put up his flyer urgently for me on the studio. I'll just jump that for I'll jump in for now to go to Mr. James Onolapo. Mr. James Onolapo is a safety specialist. He's a safety specialist. He's very good at his works in helping to ensure that everyone is good at doing what they are doing in a smart city. That means no matter how productive you are, no matter how efficient you are, in the space of technology, you must embrace safety. Yes, and that is just so important. You must embrace safety. So you'll be sharing about safety in smart cities and for residents, for engineers, and everyone like that. So let me just read a little about his bio. Now, he's recognized already and registered with the National with Nigerian Society of Engineers. He's also registered with the Nigerian Institute of Safety Engineers. He's qualified with HSC 1, 2, and 3. He's highly dedicated in IT with extensive experience in IT. He's a system integrator with years of experience in home and industrial automation and electrical controls. If you know about the home and industrial automation, you know that is someone worth recognizing. He's excellent at working with others to achieve your desired objective on time and with excellence. Media, give me the next slide. Thank you. So he has skills in home automation, industrial automation, internet updates, CCTV, solar inverter system, access controls, basically call it automation in general. He's a pro in that area and based in Western Africa and Western Nigeria. So having said that, I believe the media is ready for me to show me the media I need. All right, thank you so much. So, all right, we have his picture on the screen now. We have Victor Emaye. Now, Victor Emaye is an health tech guru. I remember a friend of mine telling me that's the founder of Figure, telling me about Joshua. If you are to invite me, I'll better invite a friend to speak on your session because it will give more value to the audience than me. And he's an amazing person I respect. So for my person I respect to respect him, then you need to know about Victor Emaye coming on this session to talk about his works in Checker. His company is Checker, and I will be reading his bio shortly. All right. So Victor Emaye is the co-founder of Checker. You can visit the website, his website, mychecker.com. Is a digital health platform where people can book lab tests. That means get your health checks from the comfort of your homes. Don't you imagine that? That's so amazing. So you can book lab tests, laboratory tests, have your get diagnostic what's the name? Bookings, health checks from the comfort of your homes with at-home sample collection. So they can come to your house, take your samples, and give you results digitally between 1 to 2 days, 2 working days. He has a bachelor's degree in economics from Adekunle Ajasin University and Akoko Ondo State, one state I love so much. He is also the founder and CEO of Medical Healthcare and has been working in the healthcare. He has also been recently selected as one of the top 25 innovators in Nigeria by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. He was also the first runner-up at the recently Nigeria's largest business reality TV show, The Next Titan Season 8, and that's so amazing. He's one of the top 5 beneficiaries of the Orange Corners Innovation Fund at the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs, managed by the Faith Foundation, and also the first runner-up of the Bulb Africa Healthcare Innovation Pitch. If I am to read all his bio, I guess we might not live here. So I will just go straight to having the speakers right now on the round table. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? Awesome, awesome. I can see Prof. Ken right now on the screen. I guess he's tired of waiting. And I can see Engineer James right now on the screen. And I can see Maya live on the screen. I believe this roundtable was quick to get full. Like everyone wanted to be on this roundtable today. And I said, I'm sorry, the space is full. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Mr. James, Engineer James, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm happy you can hear us. Engineer Kenneth or Prof. Ken, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Right. So, will I call you Dr. Victor or what should I call you? So
Victor
yeah.
is fine. Victor is fine.
All right. So I would like to. I think from the background I've seen on your books, it helps me to let people know that you can easily change careers and yet still be the best at whatever you are doing. So it's one thing. I remember so I can repent publicly that I was once an advocate of not changing careers. That why will you not change? Why will you just start to use 4 years or 5 years in university and then change it after a while? But I can see that perspectives can always change and we can always become better. All right. So the table is now full. It's a round table, though it's square on this screen, but we can always maximize it. Now, let's have Prof. Ken tell us a bit about your journey in the green energy space, in the MEP space, and let's see what you are doing in that space to make places in Africa become smart.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua. Thanks for the privilege to be here and the other speakers on the roundtable. It's always a joy to meet other like minds like you. I'll quickly get down to it. Basically, I'm into the residential and commercial buildings sector. And what we do is to make, to give Africa a different story. You see, the average African or the average contractor or anyone that says he wants to go into building just thinks of putting up a shelter. But now the construction sector has gone beyond that. Now we're talking of energy efficient buildings. We're talking of maximizing our carbon credit. We're talking of reducing greenhouse gases and all that. And you see that as an engineer, because my background is actually mechanical engineering, you see that you have a lot to grapple with. Now we have to work on structures that are not just sound structurally, but they deliver maximum value in terms of energy efficiency to the customer. I'll give an example. You see, someone could just walk up to you and say, I want to put up a 2-bedroom apartment. And you're like, okay, what do you have in mind? He's just thinking of the rooms, the kitchen, the sitting room, and all that. He's thinking of interior design. But you find out that sooner or later, his his energy consumption becomes so high that he cannot afford that. Okay, we are based in Nigeria, at least everyone on this round table. And you see that if you don't have constant power where you are, you have to deal with petrol generators or diesel generators or solar now. So our company decided to evolve into the space where we can actually make homes, especially the residential buildings, which is the majority of the works we do, and commercial buildings more energy efficient, which delivers maximum value to the customers right from the design stage. It's not when everything is set up, you now start saying, okay, how can I put solar on my roof so that I can reduce my energy bills? No, from day one, we give you things like larger windows. We look at orientation from the sun, we look at wind direction and all that to maximize the energy efficiency. Then we can now talk of implementing green energy solutions like solar, wind, and all that. So basically, that's what we do. We help guide the clients from the design phase through to the completion so that at the end of the project, they have maximum value for the for the projects they handle. One more thing before I let others speak. For the commercial building sector, you see that the construction cost is not so much of an issue, but the energy cost. So that's why these days they like to involve experts in that area. The green energy, those are experts in the renewable energy sector, coupled with the MEP, because these are the systems that consume most of the energy. Your mechanical devices like your air conditioners, your fans, and all that HVAC systems. Then your electrical devices like your TVs, your all those other things, and your plumbing. So these services must be integrated so that when a design is delivered to a customer, we can tell you that okay, going with this option gives you maximum value. Going with this option, you have these conditions to grapple with. So that's basically what we do, and that's how we are trying to help Africa, and Nigeria to become more energy efficient and see how to help the planet become more sustainable. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Because I noticed some of the
All
speakers
right.
are.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
So, all right. So let's go to Mr. Victor MIA. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you.
everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. My name is Victor, just like Mr. Joshua has wonderfully introduced me. I lead the team at Checker, a digital health platform for at-home medical lab tests. And pretty much, I would start with a story, right? I know many of us either have an auntie or uncle or brother or sister or friend that has come down with a stroke at some point. When we look down the memory lane, you would have heard of somebody that you know, right? My mom came down with a stroke a couple of years ago, and it was terrible, right? It was even worse to discover that she had high blood pressure and diabetes that had been in her system for a very long time. And because labs were not so accessible, right? It's when you go to a lab, they just queue for a long time, and working professionals would not even want to go through that hassle, right? That's made a lot of people not know the state of their health until when they fall ill, then they start to look at what exactly is wrong. Yeah, so I mean that's what made me to start Checker, right? I think 6 months after she recovered, it was necessary, right, to ensure that we bring the lab to the homes of people. It will shock you to know that there are about 5,000 labs in Nigeria, and just 7 of these labs are ISO certified. It means that these are labs that their results are not contestable anywhere in the world. It means they're generally accepted, right? Now looking at the rest of them, it means that once you do a test today, you might need to retest when you go see a doctor, right? I'm sure some of us have that experience where the doctor will see your test result and say, oh no, you have to do this test again, right? A lot of people have to pay twice for healthcare because I mean it's a whole hassle, right? And part of the goal of ensuring a smart city, right, is inclusiveness, right? When we have every part of a working system super functional, right? Especially in healthcare, where you can access care from your home. Imagine a home that is super smart, automations, and you still have to go physically to the hospital. I mean, right? So I mean that is one gap that Checker covers, right? And one of the amazing things that we do is that we don't just work with patients directly. We have an infrastructure that even medical practitioners use, even labs use our service. And because labs also want to offer this kind of service at home sample collection and at home testing to their customers, but it's pretty difficult, right? And uniquely, we use a Uber model. So when you book a test from Lekki in Lagos, somebody in Lekki who is one of our healthcare workers will visit you within 60 minutes to take your sample and you get your results as soon as possible, even interpreted, right? So you don't need to see a doctor to interpret your results and understand how to take care of yourself. And very importantly, I feel that this kind of innovations across board um, should pick up very fast. And here is why. You would see that the quality of life over time has reduced in Africa. And this is because of the entire manual processes that we have to go through. And you see that some organizations, when they put in some automation tools, productivity improves, right? So if we want to increase the lifespan of human beings, right, we pretty much need to leave what can be automated for automation tools, right? And focus on and major on the things that cannot be automated, like stuff like healthcare. Look at the wonderful work that Kenneth is doing. It's very important that, I mean, the house I currently stay in, I wish I was able to install a solar panel and all of that, but you'd be shocked that even now they are saying we cannot because the roof is close to this. So much excuses. I'm like, if we install the solar panels, you'll be able, when you want to remove it, maybe you're changing apartments, you have to sort of remove it alongside the roof. I'm like, what? So I mean, these are things that we need to think about even while setting up our buildings. And I know it's a gradual process, right? And taking it back to healthcare, right? Every day people lose their lives, and it's just because they are not aware, right? And that's the goal for Checker, to make sure people are able to detect illnesses earlier on, right? Because earlier detection and early treatment saves lives. That's what quality health is. It's not preventive healthcare pays way more than the creative part, and technology would aid in that aspect, right? I'll not fail to mention a couple of our super good partners in the healthcare industry. I mean, Checker is majoring on diagnostics, right? But there are other people in emergency ambulancing, like It Medical, like Emergency Response Africa. There are other and telemedicine companies like Tremendok, Udibia, Clafia, who are doing very fantastic work in the space, trying to ensure inclusive healthcare for all, right? So regardless of crest, clan, location, you can get access to care. And that is part of the goal in achieving smart cities, right? So, and I'm sure that with the way companies like Smart City Mall Africa is coming up, we would definitely have these improvements show up over time, right? With the great work that Kenneth is doing, and I'm sure James is also doing something fantastic in the space. With more people venturing into ensuring that this comes up, I'm sure that we'll get some level of productivity, and of course, in terms of human lives, mortality rates will be greatly reduced, right? And with solutions that we are building. So allow me to stop here for now. It's always a great pleasure to share our story at Checker.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Amazing. I love this. I was about writing down a particular stuff, and I hope the media team can help me put that in the on a banner, because it has to be on the screen. So earlier detection and prevention saves more lives. Earlier detection and prevention saves more lives. At least that needs to be a quote on marble. Earlier detection and prevention saves more lives. Media team help me put that on the screen. Thank you. So having said that, I'll be going over to Engineer James. I love his display name called Safety James. That's very important. So can you Can you hear us? Can you hear us? You can unmute your mic. Can you hear us? All right, let me see if you can speak through this. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. All right. So we are listening to
All
you.
right. All right. My name is Safety James Onolapo. I'm very happy for this opportunity to be among the people that are going to be speak. And then I'm also thank Mr. Joseph very well for allow this platform to exist. It's a very great opportunity, especially for the Africa, to come out like this and be telling people that the world is going to be smart. Um, Basically, for my bow, I love tech since I was young, and then actually this passion drive me uh, into a lot of into a lot of field, and then I thank God where we are today. Basically, I'm going to talk on the safety in the city, and then for the engineers and the residents. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Um, as we all know that safety is the bedrock for all engineers. So we cannot look outside of safety if we want our work to be done. Actually, without putting safety first, work is not going to be done. Yeah. Uh, as a city becomes smarter, safety issue become more complex too. So that is why we have to put safety in anything we are doing, especially at smart city mall. As an engineer, we have to make sure that we have a good PPE to make the work done. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, to make the work done, I think the network is very bad. To make the work done, and then to also don't put your resident or your client into danger, because as we all knows that um, without putting safety first, every other thing is not going to be fall apart. Um, Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Continue.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. As an engineer, we have to be putting safety first in anything we are doing. We have to make sure that we have the right tools to do the work. We have the right ladder. We have to check the environment we are going to be where you are going to be working, and then you have to make sure that even though after your work has been done, you don't put your client or your resident into suspicion in such a way that they don't know anything about what you installed for them. um it's good for an engineer from the experience to let your client see. So there are some people that will say, oh, the my customer will knows that especially when it comes to technology, what you don't know is what people are paying for. It's not as if they can't do it, but they don't know it. They are paying because they don't know it. And then most of the people they see it as an ideal thing that I don't want to tell my customer that this is how this thing is working. It's very wrong. As as a safety practitioner, you have to let your customer knows that this is what I'm trying to install for you. This is how it works. You let them have the full understanding so that they are not going to be misuse it. And moreover, um, all engineers have to be very safety conscious in everything they are doing, in a such a way that they don't just do work, they don't just execute projects, They don't just put how many people. There's what they call a job safety analysis. How many people are we going to be need at site at smart city? These are the things that we put and we look into it. That okay, how many people? We don't just put a lot of people there and they don't know anything, and then we cannot just put anybody that don't have the idea and the skills about what is going to be there at site. And then the safety sign is also very important for the engineer that is working in the resident and in the city for the resident. The safety sign is that we have to be safety sign cautious, especially those of us that we don't even care about the sign. It's very important. You saw where they put danger there, and you are still directing your boys to go and pick something there. Do you love that guy? No, we have to be safety conscious in a such a way that we protect our staff. At the same time, we protect the city. At the same time, we protect the work that we are doing. Actually, we don't have more time to permit. There's a lot to learn in safety because without the safety, as I said earlier, the work is not done. So thank you very much.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I guess you had to use two devices to show up on this session. So I'm happy that our speakers can show up by all means at all times, irrespective of their challenges with the network. All right. So thank you so much. While we are, as I made mention, and we are really making efforts to ensure that everyone in Africa can have stable networks remotely. I'm happy to see what Starlink is doing with tests from the Fox team, and I know that more is going to be coming to Africa very soon. Okay, having said that, I'll put in some questions now. So Mr. Victor, I believe, can come on the video now. So I'll put in some questions very soon, and then to everyone, so we can bring this conversation to the table. Yes, and please, if you are listening on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, kindly please put your name, tell us your name and where you're listening from in the comment section so that we can know and we can connect with you more. After this section of the speakers answering the questions, we would have an area where we would have you ask your questions and comment so that the speakers can also speak around your questions, and feel free to ask as many questions as you want. Feel free to have as many questions as you want. So let me have this. Let me have the roundtable complete. I would like to see the roundtable complete. Give me a second. Yes. So please be on your camera so that we can see you. Thank you. So we can have a full, beautiful roundtable. Yes. All right. So now, so let's go straight. So Prof. Ken, now as regards the area, I believe everyone can hear me. I don't know why I'm saying Mr. Victor's camera seems dark, but I can see on the back end that it's clear. But while he joins in, let me make a test again. Yes. So while he joins in and the network is good, Mr. Kenneth, tell us how, with regards to, you spoke about green energy, having an energy efficient facility, either residential or commercial. Now, irrespective of the challenges that are happening in the space, in building of houses, we have heard of houses fall down, get to crash, even in one of the most luxurious of estates in Nigeria and some other areas of other countries in Africa. We've heard of houses go down, and we are wondering, you spend so much building a house beside a beach, and your house went down. Like, what challenge didn't you see that before wasting that amount of money? Or do you just rush? I see people rush the process of building, employ not necessarily quacks, but try to enforce themselves on standard engineers to do things that only fit their will and not the standard of their work. So I would like you to tell us, how do you get to deal with clients that don't consider their energy usage before going to put in mechanical and electrical components in their houses, thereby defeating the goal of having efficient and smart buildings that can help Africa become better in the long run, and even in the the carbon emission quotient around the world.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joshua. So, okay, I'll start with the issues of collapsed buildings, like Mr. James was speaking. He mentioned safety, and actually, as engineers, we know that safety is paramount, and without safety, you're basically wasting everything. Because if someone tells you, I could build this cheaper, and in the end you cannot live in the building, it's all a waste. You find out that not being safety conscious is more costly than being safety conscious. Just to address that issue, and the issue of Banana Island and building at the beach, you see, that's what I was saying. When an architect sits down in his office to design a building, there are certain conditions he doesn't put into consideration. One, he doesn't put the soil test into consideration. The terrain is not taken into consideration. He just puts up a beautiful structure. Then those drawings are supposed to be handed over to engineers, whether it's a safety engineer, a structural engineer, a mechanical engineer. That's how a civil engineer, that's how the process of things should go. These experts have deep knowledge about these different areas and can tell that, okay, this beautiful structure will only stand in certain conditions. One, the foundation has to be different. Two, because of wind load. And for example, if I'm building in Abuja, the terrain is different from building in Lagos. The wind load is different. The terrain is different. The kind of foundations you use is different. So someone wakes up one morning and says, oh, I put up a 3-story building in Abuja with a foundation of this kind of foundation. I will just do the same thing in Lagos. Sooner or later, you find out that that building is not safe, and you get issues of collapse. That's why engineers must collaborate to make sure that these buildings are safe and avoid some catastrophes that could have been circumvented. Now, over to the issue of being energy efficient. The truth is, the upfront costs of building an energy efficient building is more, but in the long run, it's cheaper. And how we try to deal with clients to make sure that they are comfortable spending more today so that they can save more over the long run is to prove to them that what they're doing will be costlier in the long run. You see, no one wants to spend more than necessary for a certain value. So in the end, it boils down to economics. If I'm able to prove to you that by making your windows 1 meter or making your windows 2 meters, you end up using less power to cool your buildings than reducing the size of the window. The client might complain that, okay, if my window is longer, then I get to pay more to install those windows. Yes, how much more will you pay as compared to the fact that you must keep your generators running during the dry season to make sure that you can sleep in that house? You see, now you said you want your parlor to be this wide, and I'm telling you, okay, instead of making it wide and short, let's just make it long and narrow. Instead of putting 2 windows, let's make it 4 windows. You see, the building cost is going up, but the efficiency is also going up. And you find out that the building will be there for the next 50, 60, even 100 years if it's well built, but the cost of energy will keep rising. Will keep rising. You see, last year we bought petrol at what price? Okay, let me not say last year. Last year is too far. Last month we bought petrol at 195. Now we are buying it at 530, 540. And you see that it was cheaper to make your windows larger. So whenever I'm constructing for clients, I tell them that if you bring your architectural drawing and I see that it will be energy efficient, I will advise that I make some changes so that if you have electricity or not in that building, you can sleep in it. Just by opening your windows, because Africa is hot. Generally, Africa is hot, at least some parts of the year. So if you can stay in your building without, and you don't need a fan, you do not need air conditioners, except in special locations, I'm very sure I've saved you quite a lot of money. Secondly, the kind of plumbing, the kind of electrical systems you use, the kind of mechanical systems you use would now come into play. But when we talk of being energy efficient, the first thing is to get the design right. Like the co-founder of Checker was sharing, he's struggling to put some solar panels on his roof, not because they cannot put it, not because there's no resources to put it, but the cost of putting that now is much higher as compared to if the roof was designed to accommodate that. You see, these things must be, our work basically is to convince the customer that you will save much more. Actually, we like to run the numbers for them. I tell you, okay, if you're to pay an extra 1 million naira because your windows are larger, or you spend 200 million over the space of 10 years or 20 years or 50 years, I think it just makes common sense that you spend 1 million now and have rest of mind. So if we're able to, bring this concept to reality to the customer, our job is actually easy, and they are more willing to accept these recommendations than we generally expect. So basically, what I'm trying to pass across is, before thinking of generating more energy, we should think of efficient design, structural design, architectural design, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing designs, before we now say, okay, how do we generate much more power to meet our needs? So that's why our company, OmniErrands, in partnership with Smart City Mall, we have to put this in place, because you see, the African continent can do better. For example, okay, I'll just give another recommendation. I was in China for a while, and I found out that most of their buildings have very few windows. Why do they have very few windows? Because their environmental conditions, especially in winter, is, they have, the summer is very hot in some parts, and the winter is very cold in some parts. We're talking -4, -7 in areas like northern China. In southern China, you can have as low as 0 degrees. So if you have very large windows, you find out that the heating load in winter is so much, and you consume so much electricity. So they put fewer windows to maximize their energy efficiency. Now you come to Africa because you saw one building in China and it's so nice, and you put very few windows in your house in Nigeria. I'm telling you, you get the opposite result. Not because those buildings are not efficient in China, but because we African engineers must be able to provide solutions for the African context. The African engineers must be able to provide solutions for the African context. The temperature in Nigeria is different. The seasonal changes in Nigeria is different from the seasonal changes in Kenya. It's different from the seasonal changes in Zimbabwe. Nigeria, we have just rainy season and dry season. Kenya, they have winter, they have summer, it could get very cold there sometimes. So before we say we are doing this in a particular place, we must have minds that are experts in certain areas come together, look at the design, get the design right. Then we now think of, okay, how much power do we need to maintain this building and make sure that we have, our power needs met. And you see, the standard of life improves because we're able to get the design right. And we have so much resources now, especially in the tech space. Thank God for Smart City Mall that's coming up now. You see some of these devices that help us regulate temperature, that help us regulate our electronic devices and all that, can easily be procured on an African platform. They understand the market. They can tell easily that, oh, this thing is working in China, it will work in Nigeria, because we know how Nigeria works. Go to our platform, we give you recommendations, and you see that Smart City gives you the devices that you need for your context. So that's basically how we solve these issues. We just give the customers the numbers. and bring it down to their level to see that, oh, it makes sense to spend more today so that you save over the long run. I think I'll just pause there so that I allow other people speak.
All right, all right. I think we need to also add this to the marble, that when you invest in, I haven't put that on the screen already. Before putting a smart building up, ensure you get the design right. Amazing. And also it's very, very important that you don't import a design without getting an African engineer that understands whether your design will work in your space in Africa. So I think I need to reiterate that so that people can put that. They can put that on the banner for me for the media team. So never import a design from another nation or from another continent without properly placing those designs under scrutiny by African engineers that have design knowledge. So just like you said, who have watched a lot of Chinese movies and want to have the Chinese kind of house in their own land. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So you want to have the exact. I remember a person. I might pass the house one time. It was like an Indian house around one area in Lagos some years back. It was not Lagos. It was Ogun State, and it was exactly like an Indian house. And they didn't live in that house more than 2 years because the house was the house basically had not just design faults, but was not suiting for the kind of place it was. So yes, as an engineer, as an architect, your clients might have tastes and like, I saw this there, I want it exactly here. There's a story I always remember in my brain of a particular architect and that was very, very good in the 1800s and was called to come and build a Catholic church. Now, this architect was dealing with the priest then, and the priests were telling him, I want this number of pillars in my building. And they insisted on where the pillars should be. And he said, I'm sorry, there is no need for a pillar to be here. I have already put pillars in the right places. A pillar doesn't need to be in this particular place. So when he saw that he would not pass his contract, you might have experienced that as an engineer before, that he will not pass his contract and they will not pay him his money. He now said, all right, let me put a pillar there. But he understands by the standards of his nation and by the level at which he has globally of his name and his brand. That's why they said a good name is better than gold. It's better than the money that they will give to you. That's the word it interprets as. And then he made it, he put it, but he now put a pillar there, but he decided to act wisely to support his own name. And then he ensured that the pillar that he said he must put, he put a pillar that was erected to the ground, but the top of the pillar did not reach. So that top of the pillar did not reach the decking. So there was about an inch gap between the pillar and the decking. So when he had passed on many years after, people were saying, this man is not the best engineer in that continent. And then they said, because he did some work in a particular church, and that building had some pillars that didn't make sense. So it cannot be as good as they claim him to be. So some people said, let us go and really find out whether he was not. And they went to see it, and they found out that even in his notes in his submission notes, after they have paid him his money, he wrote it there. I was forced to do this and this and this, but I left these dimensions and these dimensions. You can go and verify. So his report showed that he added wisdom to the work. The client likes what he wanted in the ending, but the engineer understood that some things would frustrate his name in the future. So, and just like what's his name, engineer James spoke about earlier on, talking about the different kind of clients and the mindset of engineers. You, an engineer, you finish the job, and because you want to be collecting maintenance deals regularly, you decided not to tell the client about how to maintain or manage his equipment, so that you have a downtime quickly and they'll call you back and pay you money. but these things are not right, and that is one thing we have started in Smart City, that we can build a city. Don't just build a smart house, build a smart city. It's an urban interconnected city. That's what a smart city is. An urban interconnected city that is always efficient and sustainable. That's what a smart city is. It's not about having your house fully smart and your neighbor's house is an hamlet. No. It's not about, that means I see some wonderful people build some funny houses in some streets, in some not estates, but in some streets, and they put all their water underground. There is no gutter in front of their house. And I'm like, what wisdom is this? Like, why are you trying to hoard your money to yourself when you can make your front of your house be a gutter and everybody in the streets can benefit from it? It's a selfless thing. So everyone needs to know these things, and everyone needs to be selfless. If not, we cannot build smart cities. If not, our cities cannot be sustainable when we pass on to glory. So we need to understand these things, that safety is important. Understand that building a design efficient and a design sustainable, let me call that word sustainable designs. Sustainable designs, we will do better in building cities around Africa. Because what's the use of importing a city design or a house design from another continent into Africa and then not getting the same good results in the ending? Something that our children cannot enter into without laughing at us. So those are things that we are talking about here. So these are very, very important things. I guess I'll have Mr. Victor come back when he's on video. But these are very important things that we have to work on. We have to work on them. We have to ensure that they are efficient. Right now, I also want to put the mic to Mr. Victor. And why I'm saying this is I can see we even need more, maybe even a mall that has more of that. Maybe I'll put that to the management later of Smart City Mall Africa, where we can have the solutions. So I think let me put on his mic. So the solutions of what they call his name. They can have the solutions, the other solutions show up. People can find Checker in a smart African platform. You don't have to build your brand alone. We can have a collaboration. So I want to have, you have a smart house, for example. You have sensors, heat sensor, motion sensor that sense the movement of people. For example, there's an estate, there's a city we're working on around the southwest Nigeria, and they have a place, I won't call their name because of privacy sake, but you get to know about them with time. Now, they have a place for elders, for wealthy elders that have retired. Now, these elders understand the quality of life. So there's a scenario that happens around Africa. You see Africans going to diaspora, and the parents that sponsor them in Africa, they have left that parent on the word called Japa. They have gone out of the country or gone to Western nations. Or the funny part is that the parents can even move from Africa to go and meet them in the house there, maybe in diaspora. And then you will now see that when the parent goes there for 2 months or 3 months, maximum of 6 months, the person gets tired because the child they went to see does not even have time to see them. So it's always maybe like 1 week in 6 months is available to talk to you because he has to make money or she has to make money. Now, all these scenarios are very, very funny. So having a house in Africa that can sense the challenges with their parents and ensure that they can get results, so they can speak, so the signals of the parents can speak to the HMO, that's the Health Management Organization. And like a platform like Checker can easily receive signals from the house of the parents or of their former guardian or the one that they respect or love, and in that way pass information to Checker or other platforms and tell them there is a challenge with this person. So that way they can now receive signals and know how to get in contact with that house in 60 minutes, like you said. So that connection helps everybody to know that, okay, now, if I want my mom or my parents or my grandparents to live in a particular city, where will I go and build a house for them? You won't build a house in a location where they don't have a plan for elderly ones. But you build an house in a smart estate or a smart city that has understanding about elderly ones. That means they have automated health hardware, health devices, health firmware, smart devices into the houses or into the vehicles of the elderly ones. So these are the things that I call very, very important. I don't know if Mr. Victor would like to speak more on that area or anything that works in that area.
And I must commend your analysis. I believe that with innovation, nothing is impossible, right? And I will start from when God created man. I mean, he gave man all the power to build things that would help man to live on earth, right? So you see that all things that God made, they were made by him, and God saw that it was good, right? So there's something called an endless possibility, and everything he said is very possible, right? And there's a major challenge in healthcare today. It's the fact that people do not collaborate, right? Healthcare stakeholders, healthcare industry leaders, healthcare technology startups, most people used to operate in isolation. And from most of the healthcare conferences that we've had in recent times, one of the major goals that we've been driving at is collaboration. Because by the time we collaborate, you see that it's a lot more easier to automate processes across every phase, right? So using your analogy where you want a smart house to be able to note and maybe a certain irregularity in patient's health, right? Or in the health of the inhabitants. It's very possible, right? And then depends on the use case, right? Because right here in Africa, healthcare is still very, very traditional, right? And I know things are picking up with the advent of telemedicine and digital diagnostics, digital ambulancing solutions, digital pharmacy solutions. You would see that tech startups have built all that space into different products. However, having all these products come together as one would make a lot of sense. That is when that automation will be able to successfully thrive, right? Right now on our platform as a digital diagnostics platform, right? We already partner with digital pharmacies. We partner with physical hospitals. We partner with physical ambulances, even digital ambulance booking systems, and even doctors. And we also have our own doctors, right? So what is left is the existence of a technology that can predict human healthcare irregularities. For example, high blood pressure. Is there a sensor that can sense it, maybe from a wristwatch? Of course, there is, right? I was still watching a documentary. Mobile device can get your blood pressure. I was like, what? So this is already existent somewhere in the world, but not here in Africa yet, right? So, and I think that what will be required is that deep sense of collaboration within organizations to ensure that there is an interoperable system, right, whereby data records is synchronized via all the platforms on, let's say, on Wella Health, on Checker, on any other telemedicine solution, even to digital pharmacy, even to the hospitals, right? So that is the basis of digital health, where I can look at the yeah. So very importantly, we would
All right, I guess
see
he had a
this.
glitch in his network.
Oh,
But
sorry, can
I
you
can
hear me now?
see one thing that is clear here. And now I'm putting this up to vendors of health devices, smart health devices, automated health devices around Africa. You can see that there's a need for you to be on Smart City Mall Africa, because platforms like Checker need to connect with your devices and ensure that you can get data. That means health data to help more people. For developers of houses and buildings, it's now important, as Smart City Mall is rising and other platforms are rising, that you understand that having a camera for security, having lights, having green solutions for power, for energy in your house is not enough. People need to eat, people need to be clothed, people need to have shelter, people need to have security, people need to have transport regular. These are needs of man. So if you have these devices, you have these machines, you have these sensors, go to Smart City Mall Africa. In the course of the few weeks to come, we'll be putting more devices, encouraging more devices related to health tech. And I remember there was a sensor that the MD of Figure was basically looking for to check ammonia tests. And he was like, Joshua, can I find this product on your platform? And I just said, spoke to the online store manager. I said, get me this product. And he found it instantly on the platform and shared the link. So these products are already on the platform, but I'm telling people that sell this product, now you can see there's a need. They are already in Africa. The question is that they don't have the right platforms to show them to the world. So I'm encouraging everyone that's a vendor, live or recorded, watching this. Now you have a place to put your products, and people are watching you in the health tech industry to find those products and help everyone. I think there's a comment. Let me see that. All right. So ensure that you do that. Ensure that you put your products on the platform. Let people know that these things exist. And if you are building a house, a smart estate, a smart city, stop building houses that don't care about the health of man. Your people Nigerians are getting old, Africans are getting old. And if you don't take care of them, they want to go to other nations, and then your real estate will become useless. Because what's the use of going to become 50, 60, 70, and then your house is useless to them? So these things are very, very important. Mr. Victor has shared about that. I don't know if any other person has a comment live that you want to ask from the speakers before we call it a day. If you have a comment about the health segment in Africa or in your country, the energy segment in Africa, or the safety segment in Africa, about your buildings, I think I'll just put up their names again on the screen so that you can know, you can even know the people on the screen right now. You can see their names: Mr. Victor Emaye, Prof. Kenneth Adeyemi, James Onolako, Joshua Osho. Please, I would like everyone to go live or recorded, go to their handles, check on them, like make that very, very important. Check on their platforms and leverage, connect with them. You need them in your space. Don't build a house without understanding, getting an engineer that understands design and MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Because if there's no MEP design inside your house, you are wasting your time. You will spend more later. You will spend more later. If your engineers are not safety conscious, or people working in your house are not safety conscious, you can risk your family. So check about that. I remember Mr. Victor Emaye said something that stuck with me, and it made a whole lot of sense. He said, I just keep my mind right now, but he spoke something about collaboration. Then he spoke about health, understanding your health patterns. These devices, please go and get them. There's something else is said, I'm trying to remember right now, but later on, I might put it in the comment section of this post, of this live, even after it has gone, it has ended the broadcast. But please ensure that you understand your health patterns. Reach out to Checker, mychecker.com, follow them on social media, connect with them. You need your test in Nigeria. I know of them. Check out them and then get results for your health. That means know your health pattern. Now, okay, I remember what he said right now. He said something. He said only 7 from his research, only 7 lab areas from his own comments out of 5,000 lab diagnostic companies are ISO certified. That means you can't take the other people's results to somewhere else. And I remember I've had an experience before telling me to take my results or do a test in another place, that they are sure of what they got, but it's better I go to a bigger hospital. And I'm like, why do you now charge me? So these things are very, very important. Let us ensure that we go to the best of organizations, and the best organizations come together on one platform. Please come together on one platform. Let's be known. Don't try to build. There's a mindset I've seen in Africa where everyone wants to build their own and not build together. When you don't build as a forest, you can cut you down because you're only one tree. No matter how tall you are, you only be a big log of wood. But when you build together as a mountain or a collection of mountains, if you check what God has done in the past, there's a collection of mountains. You don't see one hill alone. You see many hills together. You don't see one rock in one place. You see many together. You see a valley, you see a hill. It's always there. So you cannot just build in one place, else people will not take you serious. Top brands around the Western world will come to Africa and build themselves, and they will connect together. But African companies won't connect together and want to be alone. So that's why we have built Smart City Mall Africa. It's simply a mall for Africa that has everything that a smart city needs. Do you sell education facilities? Do you sell MEP facilities? Do you sell safety facilities? Do you sell health tech devices, transport tech devices, whatever, clothing tech devices? Get them to the platform. People are now listening and want to hear you. I believe I'll be able to share from that, and I believe there are no questions from the comment segment. So having said that, we might call it a day, except someone has a comment to say from the speakers. Does anyone want to say anything from the speakers? All right, I guess you want to say something?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I said in addition to what Mr. Victor said, there's a document that I watched. Actually, it's a mobile phone. The mobile phone can detect when people are angry, and it's going to be calling. Maybe they are fighting, and it's going to be calling the 911. I think it's not in Africa anywhere. I think it's around the ocean. Or so there was a fight within the building, and then the mobile phone tried to call the 911 to alert them that they are fighting somewhere, and they send the address. They spoke to the 911 officers, and then it quickly they come along to come and settle the case. I think that kind of thing is already existing. We just have to implement into our own city so that people can also get that kind of thing, and then for their own personal safety too.
All right. Okay. I think we got you there. We got you there. All right. So I got his point already. Now, having said that, I think that's clear. That's clear. So now I think this is to encourage everyone that as you are an inventor, you are an innovator, you make this kind of devices, or you are privy to this kind of devices, you know of them. Please get them to the mall as soon as possible. Sign up on the mall as a vendor or as a manufacturer, basically a vendor. Put your products there. As soon as you get sales, you are instantly informed, and you can bring them to, you can send them through the logistic partners straight to the clients, and everyone is safe and everyone is happy in Africa. So I think Prof. Ken, do you have any message that you want to share, or any comment, or any link? Please, you can share the links to your platforms that you want us to share on the screen. Just put it in the private chat, and I'll put them on the screen so that everyone can benefit from the amazing works you have done or you are currently doing.
Okay, I don't have much to add. I just want to appreciate Smart City Mall for organizing the roundtable. The likes of Mr. Victor, the likes of Mr. James, they shared quite a lot. And at least now I didn't know about checkers until now. At least now I know about checkers. I'll be able to recommend them, and the safety engineer in our midst. Also, just the last note of just last comment. As African engineers, I think, or I would say engineers, innovators, entrepreneurs, I think we should have this can-do mentality. Look at Smart City Mall. It's not any different from the likes of Alibaba and Amazon and all that. It started from somewhere. Look at Checkers, look at what they're doing. So if we have this can-do mentality, there's so much that can be done, And just like Mr. Victor brought up, collaboration is always an issue in Africa, has always been an issue in Africa. Even amongst engineers, collaboration makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. The fact that, for example, in my industry, the fact that you designed the building and it came out beautifully doesn't mean you'll be able to do the MEP side of it, doesn't mean you'll be able to do the safety side of it. You should be able to contact a safety engineer, come do your work, contact an architect, come do your work, contact a civil engineer, come do your work. And of course, what stops us from implementing smart devices to connect to the likes of Checker, so that there's an emergency in the house, you don't have to run helter-skelter looking for where to get solutions. You just have a speed dial to Checker's platform, to their customer care, and they're like, okay, where are you? What's your location? Automatic location is sent. Okay, we come down to your building and take your sample, run the tests, link you up to a doctor. Another thing, just a recommendation to Checker. Another issue we have in the medical sector that I've noticed, because my dad is a medical doctor, my younger brother is a medical doctor, so I grew up under that environment. Another thing I've noticed is this trial and error kind of thing that goes on in the healthcare sector. Okay, you just talk to a doctor and you find out that they just tell you, oh, it's malaria, it's typhoid, and you treat that. You're not getting any better. They could come back again, oh, let's try this, let's try that. These are not machines. We're dealing with people's health. So if Checker will be able to find a way, or in part of your services, try to foster collaboration between these doctors so that health, like histories of patients, can be shared. Like I'm in Lagos and I did a test and they started my treatment, but I have to go to Abuja. Now they have to run a whole series of tests or just assume what I'm going through. If there is a way to query the database of the other hospital to to send the records of this patient to this hospital. Let's continue from there. I don't know, something like a database that would help, so that wherever you are in the country, even if you're abroad, the doctors there can say, okay, please, the patient can say, please contact Checker, they have my history. And Checker sends the records across to them and they can continue from there. I think it will help reduce the impact of this trial and error, because we've lost some people just because, oh, he doesn't take aspirin and you didn't know. He can't start, it's an emergency, you can't start checking for all the allergies and all that at that time. You just have to administer right away. What if there were like, if it was like a database where they just see the patient's history and be like, okay, don't give him that, don't give him that, don't give him that. 2009, he was allergic to this, and this test from 2004 confirmed this. It will help us. I think it's possible, and just a recommendation. Thank you guys for the privilege.
I must thank you. I must thank you for saying that, Kenneth. Very valid, very valid. And like I mentioned, the healthcare space is still very traditional, and just the way the fintech are trying to ensure that finances is inclusive. That's the same way we're trying to do it in the healthcare space. And the truth be told, for us to have a single database for healthcare, it has to be from the government, right? It has to be the government endorsing one platform. You would see from my background, my first company was a data company, electronic medical records for hospitals. That's where we started out from. Even Checker is riding on that same solution. We have a lot of hospitals using that same software, right? But because there are other EMR companies, Ilium Health, Clinify, Intuitive Health, there are so many other EMR companies. It will shock you that we probably have same patients with different records on these 4 platforms I just mentioned, right? And until when the government steps up to bring up those to implement the digital health policy, because I mean, we recently discovered that there is truly a digital health policy that has not been implemented, right? So once these policies are being implemented, we have one records. You would see that it will be easy to plug in Smart Health. It will be easy to plug in any automation system in the healthcare space, because the baseline is medical history, right? You'll be able to track the records, analyze the trends, and also forecasts, right? So it's just very important, and I really thank you for saying this. And I'm sure that with initiatives like what Smart Mall is doing, it's going to be a very great one for our nation, Nigeria. And just like Mr. Joshua has been doing, I would like to implore all vendors into smart tools and technologies to join the platform and register as a vendor or a manufacturer. It will just make it a lot more easier. So once we see technologies that we can tap in as an organization, we key into it, and from there we're able to move on to save more lives. It's very important. The number of lives that technology can save is way more than what a doctor will single-handedly save manually, right? So I want us to put this up and keep the great work going. Thank you very much for having me on this platform, Mr. Joshua, and thank you all for listening. It's been a very great time that we spent together, and I hope that we can go on to implement all that has been said and not just listen and let it go. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking on that, Mr. Victor. So in wrap up with this, in the next 2 minutes, we're wrapping up. So one thing that you can be sure, that at the end of this meeting, that we'll be reaching out to vendors, having an open call for vendors in the tech industry, in the health tech industry, in the MEP industry, in the safety industry, in the agri-tech industry, in the automation trainers industry, there's trainers for automation industry, and then lastly, in the fintech industry, to come on board. Secondly, we are currently working on a few smart cities in design and implementation. So get ready, Checker and everyone that develops data and uses data to make more results. That's data developers and data implementers. That means All right. So I think I had a network glitch. Now, so in wrap up with what has happened, thank you for coming everyone on this session. So in wrap up to what I have been shared for the past 2 days, we will be regularly sharing updates for vendors of the different sectors of a smart city to come on the platform, and then you can be rest assured. So if you're a developer of a city, of an estate, you can be rest assured henceforth that we will be ensuring that only platforms and companies that really will protect, that are certified and will protect your data and ensure that they use that data to bring out great results, from health to agriculture to finance to what's called its name, to safety, to deployment of different tasks, because data is the gold mine of the now. Will be contacted and partnered with and ensure that they protect our lives and make good use of our data. So Smart City Mall is open to partner with developers of estates, leaders of nations, leaders of states, leaders of regions and metropolis around the world and around Africa. So feel free to reach out to us at via care@smartcitymall.africa. It will be on the screen or in the comment segment as soon as possible. So feel free to reach out to us, and you are sure that your data and your information is protected. Your house are well built and the right products get to you, the right products are installed in your buildings, and we get the best results out of Africa. Africa can have a can-do mentality. Africa can collaborate. Africa can become a better continent with higher living standards and living quotient. And I know that wherever you're listening from, you will benefit. So Africa is still a place to go to. The nations of Africa are still a place to go to, provided you have the right partners like Smart City Mall Africa, Omni Errands Africa, My Checker, and Sotec Africa, and so many other platforms that are linked with Smart City Mall Africa. So feel free, connect back home. Let's do more for Africa. Thank you so much. This marks the wrap up of the whole launch event from yesterday to today. If you missed yesterday's event, it was so eventful. Connect with I remember quickly came on board yesterday with Damian Udo. Please, that platform is so massive. I know they took about 2 years to build that platform, and they are doing great work there. Connect with them, invest in them. You can be sure you have our backing, and feel free to reach out to us for any idea or any solution that you want to do in Africa that would help Africa become smarter, effective, efficient, and Africans become more productive. God bless you and have a wonderful time. My name is Joshua Oshowo. I'm so happy to be your host. I'm so glad that I've been your host in this sessions for the past 2 days. Do have a wonderful time. See you at the top. Thank you so much. God bless you.